right, guys, welcome to the show. I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
And here are the goods after a while. It's been a long time we've done the podcast.
So long. I can't believe we even still do this show.
And, I mean, our Twitter handle, our Instagram handle, it's still the Goods Podcast, but we do...
The shirt says it.
But, you know, I mean... we still put content out.
I mean, we do things, just not this.
Just not this. We haven't done this in a while. And, you know, not much has really been happening as far as...
Blame the studios.
We blaming the studios. You know, pandemic is still freaking wrecking crap. And we had a pretty good...
it was still a top 5 in the movies, though.
That's very true.
We could always talk about that.
So, you know, Tom and Jerry breathed some life into the box office, really that we needed in 2021. And nobody thought it was going to do crap, but it actually did something. 13 mil that first week. And now...
Is it because of all the streams that it got because the HBO accidentally released the Snyder Cut under the Tom and Jerry thing?
I'm talking about the first, before that happened. That's funny, though.
They got the extra streams from that.
Yes, they did. That's probably true. But, you know, it did 13 mil its opening weekend at the box office, so it kind of gave us a good lift. And now Raya just premiered.
Okay.
And it did less.
It
did 8 million first week. What do you think?
Everybody wanted to see Tom and Jerry. To be honest, Raya just made me think of like older Moana.
That's very true. But you know what we think about it too is like what I didn't understand was it's similar to Mulan. It's on Premier Access and it's $30 on Disney Plus.
It's cheaper to go to the movie theaters to go see it.
Tom and Jerry was free on HBO Max and it made more money in the theater.
Well, I want to explain it this way, but I'm not sure if this is true what I'm saying. So, Tom and Jerry has the the parents to say like, hey, I remember this. And it's a kid's film, so I can go I can take my kids. So now the movie theater gets 3 ticket purchases as opposed to Raya, where you still can get the same 3 ticket purchases, but now the family may be like,
you make a damn good point.
I don't know this property, and it's
exactly. So the familiarity of the property is what made it more appealing to people. Okay, I get it, and you're right. All right, so 5 million less that it did Raya, 8.6, number 1.
And I don't think they market this film as well, because that well at all, because I barely know what's going on in this film, and the only thing I got to take away from the trailers is like the whole art style reminded me of Moana, and I was like, is this just like
the characters?
Is this Japanese Moana?
The character design of that's Mulan actually technically.
Well, Mulan is Chinese though.
Oh yeah, but. I would have rather have the...
Or Polynesian. I can't remember, like, some Asian descent of whatever this character is. But it just seemed like...
She does look a lot... The character design of...
A lot like Moana.
Like Mulan, yeah.
Or Disney. Come up with some new creativity. Mulan. But... So it just made it feel like it was just something that we'd already seen.
So Raya and the Last Dragon, but no Tiamat or Shonuff. What's up? We need to have Tiamat and Shonuff come out since he's the Last Dragon. We need Bruce Leroy to be the Last Dragon.
Are they gonna do the glow?
They gotta do the glow, but it's gonna be blue. All right, number 2 was Tom and Jerry.
What's up?
And we'll get to him in a little while. Tom and Jerry, number 2, 6.6, 53 million worldwide. You were right. It continues as far as... Now, it had a good drop, but that familiarity was still there. So
I think that had something to do with it. That it was a new Disney property. And even with that being said, Disney properties still do well on their own for animation kids, stuff like that. I just felt like it seemed like it was kind of close to something we had already seen. And people were kind of like, I'd rather see Tom and Jerry.
Okay, so Chaos Walking was a film that was delayed. It had a little bit of production issues and all that, but it starred Daisy Ridley and it had Tom Holland.
Oh yeah! I forgot about this film, right?
Exactly.
Did it actually come out?
And apparently everybody else did.
Yeah, it's like they haven't shown a trailer in forever.
So this is $100 million movie and it only grossed $3 million.
I think everybody just takes a wash right now, and I know that's why everybody wanted to hold off their films, but I was like, just put it out and just eat,
I felt
eat the loss.
So bad for Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland.
The stimulus is coming out anyway. Y'all make it up there. Y'all make it up with the stimulus. Dude, they're giving like $7,000 to like families now. Dude, you'll make it up with the stimulus.
Okay, so
wait till the stimulus comes out. Boo! Everybody was back at the movie theaters.
So Tom Holland's still working on Spider-Man, so he's set. Yeah. Daisy Ridley is not going to be Ray anymore. She needed that to
transition after this.
But she's not going to be Ray anymore, not for a while anyway. So yeah. Anyway, so I feel bad for Daisy Ridley.
Hey, you know what? Mark Hamill had a hard career after Star Wars 2.
Until he became the Joker.
Until he became the Joker. How long did that take?
Yeah, a lot. Long time.
I mean, he played
11 years.
He played
Because Batman the Animated Series was like 92, 93.
He did some live action thing where he played another character that they brought
It was
back.
MacGyver.
Well, yeah, that too. But like he did where like it was this Trickster. There you go. He was a Trickster.
Trickster in the Flash.
It was this. Oh, God bless.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 4 was Boogie, about an Asian basketball player. Thug Life.
I mean, I only know of 2 of those.
It was like a like above
Which
the
one
rim.
was it about? Was it about
It was like
Yang Ming,
It
or
was like
was it
above
about
the rim and Parasite. So, but it grossed 1.2 mil, so not bad.
Okay.
And number 5, closing it out at 780,000, was The Crude still. And that's with it being released on Blu-ray, and it still is number 5 since Thanksgiving. Damn you, COVID.
Well, I mean,
But good for Nicolas Cage and Ryan Reynolds,
yeah,
right?
look,
Amazon.
you know, everybody else shares my love for Ryan Reynolds. That's what it is.
So Chaos Walking was the bust of the week. But for me, the bust of the week was Coming to America, which
Did
was...
it only went to Amazon, right? It didn't actually.
It did go to Amazon, it did not go to movie theaters. And you know what, to be honest with you, after watching it, we will have a review out. But after watching it, I think that, I'm glad that it went straight to Amazon.
I feel, you know what? If it had went to the movie theaters, I think it would have made some money. I think it would have been number 1.
I would have had a lot of people, I would have had a lot of refunds for that movie. One of the things that was missing from this movie was, if you have not seen it, spoiler alert, but Eric LaSalle, who played Daryl in the first one, did not come out in this. Okay, so here was his cameo that was supposed to be. This is from the director. Okay, so I'm sorry that Eric didn't want to take part in the sequel because we had a plan for him. We wanted to
Wait, because he had something better to do?
We wanted to do a new commercial that would have seen in the background somewhere in a scene, and it was going to be called Soul Grow. The joke was
Wait,
joke.
it's growing like plants? It's a fertilizer, Soul Grow.
No, the joke was going to be that Eric is now selling a baldness cure. And he is also a customer. The ad called for Eric to be bald and hair to sprout out of his head magically. Soul Grow.
Just let your soul
grow. Just let it shine through. Soul Grow was going to be a commercial that was on TV that the Johnsons were watching. It was going to be a very quick joke where Daryl would come out and he would have his curly wig, but then he would take it off and he would be bald. It'd be like, do you remember me kind of thing? Yeah. So that is...
He didn't want to do that.
That sounds like fun.
I can't believe he wouldn't have wanted to do that. Like, what is he doing now? That he was like...
He ain't on ER no more.
I'm too busy for that. I can't do... Dude, come on.
It's in fun. It would have probably been a quick few grand that they would have thrown at you.
That would have been the funniest thing people remembered from the movie. They'd have
Yes.
been like, oh, remember the Soul Grow commercial?
Soul Grow. So guess what? No matter what... Soul Grow. It's gonna be. If there's any future, it's gonna be Soul Grow.
Let it
Shine through. Oh my God. All right. Well, you know what else was shining? WandaVision.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
All right. So the series finale.
Yeah.
Now we talked briefly about the first couple of episodes,
Yes.
and then we actually hadn't been on the show, so we hadn't talked about it. How did you think that the show turned out? What did you think about after episode 4?
I like
how did you think it came out?
Paul Bettany had told us in a lot of his interviews, he was like, hey, it's going to start off a little bit slow, but once it gets going, it's going to get going, right? Except for that one episode where they wanted to kind of like recap and kind of catch everybody up as far as like how everything took place. I was a little bothered by that episode, but the rest of the way it played out, I really liked it. I know some people had some problems looking at the Rotten Tomato scores in regards to the last episode, how they didn't like how that one ended. But overall, as a show, it was great. It was great. Oh, everything I expected.
I thought
except for the stuff that I expected that didn't happen.
I thought that Evan Peters coming in as fake Pietro. I thought that his introduction was cool. It kind of like gave you a really big twist on it. They never explained why he still has powers unless the
necklace.
The necklace was why. That's weak.
Because Agatha does have her own powers and she could manipulate. So they just kind of hinted, because there was an interview with the director from the show, and he kind of details this stuff, and it was like, she has her own power. She can give somebody else a power to do so, and she needed him to be fast so that way Wanda would believe the whole misdirection.
Then what that tells me is that his role in any kind of future X-Men is gonna be
nothing.
Basically nothing.
That's why he even came back and they asked him about it, like how his role had meant nothing to like the greater MCU and them crossing timelines and stuff like that, he takes a deep breath and is like, look, I'm just happy to be out here and playing in the Marvel universe, and I always wanted to be around these guys. These guys are awesome. So it sounds like he didn't have no future plans as far as with Marvel.
And that's really, really disappointing.
And that they just asked him to be out there, and he's even kind of disappointed that they're not going to kind of roll that into the MCU. So
you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Ben Kingsley's role in freaking Iron Man 3.
So the way I looked at it really does. So the way I looked at it is that when they were writing, because it also came out too that they wrote the fact that Aaron Taylor Johnson wasn't going to come back as Quicksilver, that they were going to do this Evan Peters thing back in 2019. This wasn't something they came up at the last minute and decided to do. They already wrote this into the script before they started filming. So they knew that they were going to do that. Somebody said, hey, we're going to do this whole thing where like Quicksilver comes and is controlled by Agatha, and they were like, well, if we do Aaron Taylor Johnson, then not only did she bring back her brother, but she also brought back Vision, and it's like it divides where the focus needs to be about her bringing back Vision. So then it was like, well, let's just give somebody else. And then somebody kind of said, and I'm not saying that they actually said this, but my thought process is like, hey, why don't we bring back Evan Peters? And it's like, it'll be funny. We'll go out there and we'll make him Quicksilver, the fake Quicksilver, and then we'll just make a boner joke at the end, and then we'll just kind of laugh it off. People will love this. No! What they'll do is they'll overanalyze the fact that we're trying to bring in that part of the MCU from the Fox universe and the mutants, and we're gonna sit here and wonder, like, how does this work? And how do the timelines cross up? And maybe Agatha has access to the other universes and stuff, and she brought him from there because he died in that universe too. That's what it did. And I bet you it was literally just meant to be a fucking joke.
And I agree with you. Just like the Ben Kingsley.
Just like the Ben Kingsley one.
On Iron Man 3. And if that's the case, that kind of sucks for Evan Peters for that. But anyway, okay, so moving on. The rest of the episodes, now you got Catherine Hahn, who's been a freaking scene stealer the entire damn show.
She absolutely has.
And now
I didn't like the way her character played out in the very last episode, and that's kind of where like some of the
she reveals herself to be Agatha Harkness, you know. And how did you like that reveal?
Oh, it was great. It was great. They even put the song on
number one on iTunes was Agatha All Along.
Yeah, I was like, the fact that they even put that out, it was a catchy song, and it was like it really got you into it. And
there's a lot of the monsters in that. The monsters. It is theme song.
From the font to like everything about it. It was like it's
the monsters.
It totally gave you, like a lot of things kind of tie back into other TV shows. So why wouldn't this too? I love that. And somebody put it out. They said it was the biggest twist that we all saw coming.
That's very true.
And it's like we all knew she was running everything, but when it happened, we're kind of like,
because how she freaking executed in that little video montage thing was freaking awesome. Yeah, man, I thought how she did it was great, and there's a different side of her too that she shows in this that I never seen a really evil side of her, and she played that really, really freaking well, finding that balance.
I think she did. I like how that they, even when you thought something was kind of being kind of too hokey and you know where it was going, she still kind of threw a little twist in it and was like, yeah, I see that with like this, like with the runes, and it was like, oh, you can't, like you're in my head, but no, I still control all of this stuff too. So I like how they played her. It made her smarter as a villain. Even though she still was kind of easily defeated.
Was she though? Was she really defeated? All right. So now you go towards the second to the last episode, and it's basically a revision. We're gonna a rerun, basically of her life, and we're gonna go through all these different things.
That was the one where I know it kind of clued us in on some things, but I felt it clued us in on things that we already knew, and I felt like that's where it shouldn't have slowed down there. Maybe they should have done that episode earlier, or maybe it's like maybe we didn't need that episode at all. And what they kind of gave us to think about, whereas what I got out of that was her character has like more of a purpose and a point than Quicksilver. And did Quicksilver get his powers from the Mind Stone, or did she give him his powers? Thinking it back to Agatha giving the Evan Peters Quicksilver his powers. So it makes me wonder, because they never showed, and it seemed like she got hers and then maybe like she gave it to him, or because they never showed him get the powers.
That's true. You're right.
It's like it made us think, once again, Marvel making us think about stuff that you probably didn't mean to make us think about, but it did.
Yeah, and you know, but her as a kid doing the probability hex and not making that thing go off.
And so
that was cool.
Yeah, where it actually kind of seems like there are people who have some type of special abilities, or like in DC would say like your metahumans or mutants for Marvel. That they're already out there, and the seeds have been laid by that scene.
That's what I'm saying. That they were already mutants. They were already mutants. Yeah. It's just the Mind Stone actually it brought it out a little bit more. That's what I'm thinking on that. But okay, so now you're after that.
So you never thought about the fact they showed the father, right? And it's like we're just gonna glance over this whole non-Magneto thing.
Oh, that's a freaking adoptive parent.
Oh, well, I mean, because it's actually supposed to be her mom. It's like because they even named her as Magda. So that's the actual mom, but it was like
now the real daddy.
I mean, because they even called him dad in the whole thing, and it was like so.
See, daddy and dad is two different names. So anyway, so that's what she called him. So anyway, so you got they go through that. They go through the Hydra, where the testing, where you see her. Interact with the Mind Stone, which she sees the Scarlet Witch itself, or some people are saying that
she see herself in the future.
She's seeing herself, or the future self is revealing who she really is to her back then.
Yeah, and I figured that's what it was. It was just kind of showing her, hey, this is your potential right here.
I think it was really good dialogue, and you could see the chemistry really there between Bettany and Olsen when she goes back to the Avengers compound, and they're sitting there and they're talking, and biggest line is, grief is love persevering. So, I mean, that was some really good acting there. I mean, I thought Elizabeth Olsen, this whole freaking thing has been freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I think she's shown every bit of range, and she could possibly be taking over Scarlett Johansson as the freaking female face of the freaking MCU, to be honest with you. I mean, she's just that magnetic, like her freaking
Until this Black Widow movie comes out.
Not even then, dude. I'm serious. Like, her screen presence is just so freaking,
they killed Scarlett Johansson, so, I mean, they have nobody else but her. I mean, Yelena is... I mean, but she just got there. It's like, exactly. But
anyway,
so yeah, it's definitely Elizabeth Olsen. She's taking over the whole reins.
So now, you go through the Avengers compound thing, and now Agatha has the kids, and she reveals her to be the Scarlet Witch, which leads into the series finale. I didn't have a problem with the series finale.
All right, so
honestly, I really didn't.
So this was a Scooby-Doo moment. So like they're trying to run to mom, right? And she's like pulling like go backwards.
Yeah, walk backwards. Go backwards. Go like this.
Yeah, it's like just go backwards. Isn't one of y'all like super fast?
Yeah. Speed that way.
I was like, it's like she's holding you. Just go the other way.
Yeah, she's holding you like this. So guess what? You're fast. Run back that way. So,
but anyway, go ahead.
So the last episode, I mean, it starts out hitting, man. You get White Vision, which we didn't even talk about. As post credits. You get White Vision, which is basically completely Vision without
without color,
without Jarvis, really, without the Jarvis, without the the personality and the memories and all of that. So he's just plain old android with prime directives, and there you go.
He's RoboCop.
He's RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Yeah. Freaking
2014 RoboCop.
Yeah, so he looked at his human hand
No, I like it because it was a good nod to the comics to do the White Vision when Vision had died in the comics, and they brought him back. It's without the brain waves of the Human Torch, so that way he doesn't have his personality and stuff like that. He's kind of basically soulless the way that they wanted to portray him.
And that's the way Bettany played him, and he was like, really, like, you expect him to be friendly or at least to Wanda, and then he picks her head up and he starts crushing her head, and he's acknowledging, I thought you'd be more powerful, and then the Hex Vision comes in and knocks it out. But which she lands in a superhero land. How come nobody can just land?
I mean, even Monica did that too. Monica did that too. It was like
she was 2 feet down.
Like hold on, wait. I think they overused that. But yeah, so I like the White Vision thing. I liked how they used the powers. Because we'd always shown, like, in brief flashes as far as how Vision's intangibility works, especially when he was fighting Hawkeye, where, like, he could hit him and then he couldn't hit him and stuff like that. So like I love to see them use the intangibility and to see them. But it was to me it was like Man of Steel when you got to see him and Zod fight. So to see Vision versus Vision and seeing like their powers, I mean they can basically do the same thing to where like how's this fight gonna end? To make it philosophical was an interesting way to kind of end that fight.
And basically, like you said, just to elaborate, and once he did, and now and then he gave him all of his knowledge and everything that Vision was.
Right.
He still doesn't have the compassion, I don't think, and he doesn't have all of that. But he has the memories.
He's like, yeah, I remember you, girl, but you know, we ain't got nothing. We ain't got nothing together. I was really thinking they were gonna merge them together to take
that would have been cool.
Her memories with his new body.
That would have been
make
cool.
Him a whole new Vision.
But then that takes away from the centerpiece of this whole show is grief and trying to get over the grief and the feelings of loss. And I think that would have probably messed that up a little bit. Because now he's basically Gamora, because now it's a different Gamora out there. So this is a different Vision. So there's going to be that complexities between their relationship. So it's going to be curious to see how they move forward.
Do you think he paints himself red?
Who knows? Blue. I don't know. He takes off, never comes back. So laters. You're on your own.
So now he's out there with Loki.
And now now it's the epic climax, and they're going back and forth. And
Loki, Gamora, and Vision.
Yeah, they're all different.
They're just out there just roaming around. They're all different versions of themselves, and they're all out there roaming around.
Yeah. So, but now you have Wanda and you have Agatha out there for the climax, and pretty decent. They go back to Salem.
And Black Widow can't come back.
And Black Widow, well, prequel, and only in a prequel. But now they're battling, and then they're going back into Salem witch trials and all of that. And I thought that was cool, which we didn't even really touch on that as far as Agatha's beginnings, but it was still pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it was cool. They could have paid attention to it. I didn't really need to see.
And then that's when she turns into the Scarlet Witch, which I gotta say, man, like, she's breathtaking. Seeing her in full makeup and costume, like, it's really cool. Breathtaking.
All it reinforced for me the fact that like they've established her as like a very strong, powered person in this. So where we were thinking about Captain Marvel and how strong Captain Marvel is going to be, or how we've always thought how strong Thor and the Hulk have been, and it's like now Scarlet Witch has now put herself at the top of that list.
She is at the top. And then, so, that's done. And, Agatha is pretty much stuck at Westview after she sets everybody free. And the acceptance, when it comes to, you get your grief, your anger, and now, and at the end you have acceptance. And that's what she accepted, everything that's going on. And that scene between her and Bettany was freaking flawless, man. It got me right here, dude, like, for real. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so.
I'm not about touchy stuff like that.
So now you go. It's over. That's done. She leaves, and post-credit scene, the scrolls. Okay. Now that sets up Captain Marvel. You know that.
Yeah. So obviously this is gonna tie into whether she's gonna be called. I assume she's gonna be called Photon.
Photon or Spectrum.
Right. So they're gonna call her Photon because they already showed the mom's name was Photon. So they're gonna do Photon. Which in the comic book she had both names. She was Photon and Spectrum, and she was Captain Marvel at one point. So it's cool that they're going to tie this into, and they already set up the fact that she seems to have some type of grudge against
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel. So I assume that one of them is going to be considered the villain of that movie, or it's going to be like King Kong versus Godzilla, real villain. Cool. we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna fight, and we're gonna do that stuff. But it's cool that they reference Nick Fury up in space, or supposedly. Or it could be what's
Carol
this?
Danvers.
No,
nah. Talos.
Okay. It could because she knows Talos too. So it could be something like that. So at the end, the minute she changed, it was like, oh, okay, cool, she's going to space, and we're gonna roll into Captain Marvel.
So there you go, and then also possibly the Secret Invasion show.
It's been announced, so we're gonna somehow work into that, and it'll probably happen after Captain Marvel too.
All right, second post-credit scene.
It's
the
one that didn't make sense.
It's Ed Norton. Ed Norton in the.
It was Ed Norton.
Ed Norton in the. It was
Ed Norton. Yeah. Okay. So this is the one that didn't make sense. I was like, okay, obviously.
Why didn't it make sense?
It didn't make sense because so you're going through it from the very beginning. It was like she does this little projection of self. That's still reading a dark hole and kind of making herself smarter as a witch, right? More spells. She's basically she's Doctor Strange in it right now.
But he's asleep. But she is so powerful that she's able to completely separate herself from and be awake while she's doing it. That's freaking awesome.
I know that. Like I said, they set it up as one of the strongest people in this whole universe. But so, if Vision was a manifestation of her grief, right?
Okay.
Where these damn kids come from?
That's the beauty of it, because it's a multiverse,
right?
And that's
And once again, this is why people are upset about that damn Evan Peters thing.
Well, we don't know what's gonna happen yet. You got it. Now everybody.
His deep side told me everything I needed to know.
Everybody wanted, you know, an X-Men tie-in, a Fantastic Four tie-in, a Doctor Strange cameo, or maybe even a Tom Holland cameo. They all wanted all this, like a Spider-Verse type. They wanted all this. It wasn't gonna happen. She got the Necronomicon already. So
as it is Marvel's Necronomicon.
So she already has that, and you know, it's the start. It's the start.
I'm not worried about those cameras. I'm not worried about these kids.
But what
who
I'm
are
saying is
screaming
that
to her.
That's why
from another dimension.
Yes, because they really do exist somewhere. That's why I'm telling you that's why it's gonna lead into the multiverse of madness.
So
her looking for those kids.
How does she get pregnant with them then?
She made herself pregnant because Vision couldn't make her pregnant.
Then how come she couldn't just keep Vision then?
Vision was dead, and he can't freaking get out of the.
These kids didn't exist.
She was trying to get. Boy, that Vision knows how to.
These kids didn't exist. It's like he didn't exist, so she made him, and it's like they still. So is Hex Vision out there too?
No, White Vision is. Why you got?
Why are the kids out there?
Why
then?
you white?
Why are the kids out there then?
Okay, well we're gonna find out hopefully in Doctor Strange 2. Okay, which
you
was
can't give me Evan Peters Quicksilver after you already took Aaron Taylor Johnson.
And you know what I loved about it? Because we talked about the Necronomicon, how Sam Raimi's about to direct Doctor Strange 2. And when you see that post-credit scene, yes, it is. And when you see that post-credit scene, it's one shot like the freaking Evil Dead entity when he's going through the freaking thing, and he has one shot from the back all the way to the front to her astral projecting.
Yeah, he does.
It was a lot like Evil Dead, and he's directing Doctor Strange 2. So it's gonna be freaking awesome. You gotta freaking love those little nods. I saw a meme out there like, what does Daredevil and Wanda have in common?
Oh yeah, they both lost their vision. I saw that too. They both lost their vision. That's so messed up.
That's hilarious. But anyway, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in the next phase. I think the Black Widow being next is gonna probably be more of a tie-in to Falcon and Winter Soldier, which that's coming up in 2 weeks. So I think that's gonna be that tie. But Doctor Strange will be, and maybe even Spider-Man will be the tie for this. So we'll see how that goes. All right.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. It is now time for our favorite rapid fire, Brandon Lee style. All right, Terrence, you ready? Here we go.
Yes.
Pepe Le Pew is being canceled. They have no plans to bring him back anymore. Is that too far, or does it have to happen?
You know what? I'm surprised out of all the other stuff that's got canceled that it took this long to get to Pepe Le Pew.
They should have listened to Dave Chappelle back when he said Pepe Le Pew's a freaking rapist.
He kind of is. I don't feel bad for Pepe Le Pew. He kind of is.
But
he forced himself on that cat over and over and over again.
So is it worth canceling him completely as a character? Does that do any kind of disservice to Chuck Jones and Mel Blanc and all those guys that worked hard on that?
No, because they got a lot of characters that were crap that we never saw again, and we care about those.
So is Snuffleupagus done too? Because, you know, I need some crack bird. Hey!
That's not canon.
What's funny about Pepe Le Pew is that he only scored 2 points in Space Jam, so screw him.
But the sexual assaults that Pepe Le Pew had were definitely canon.
All right. Possibilities of Young Guns 3 and Lou Diamond Phillips returning as Chavez. Good idea or bad idea?
Bad idea, but it's like they're old.
Bad idea. Old guns.
I mean, they're old.
So not a good idea. Oh my gosh. Okay, Coming to America, again, we're talking about it.
Okay.
Coming to America is the most streamed movie like ever.
Okay.
In the first weekend. Now there's talk about Captain America 3. Captain America 3? No. Coming to America 3. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
I mean, if it's the most streamed video, especially for Amazon Prime, they need content. Amazon Prime definitely needs content. Hey, let's go ahead and get that Eric Lassell cameo going.
Coming 3 America.
Coming 3 America. Coming to Zamunda.
Coming 3 Zamunda. Horrible idea. All right, now our little bit of a rule of two segment. Luke Skywalker series, good for Disney Plus or bad?
Bad for Disney Plus because nobody liked Solo, and at least Solo had more to do and more of a relevance to what we were trying to do. They're just trying to just kind of like get all the money out your pocket because everybody blew their load over the last episode of The Mandalorian by putting Luke in there. They really should have made that Mace. Why did y'all do this? Because now now the whole talks about making a whole Luke thing. It's like you're gonna spend all this money on de-aging, recasting, and all this extra stuff, and then people aren't gonna be happy with it. You should have just made it Mace, gave Mace his own TV series, and then him and Grogu fighting crime in the galaxy.
I think you're right. I think that would have made the most sense. But the only thing that
it'd have been a new Turner and Hooch.
But the thing that would suck about that is that freaking Samuel's schedule with
because of all the Marvel stuff he's doing.
Yeah, that would kind of like throw that off. But
I mean, it's like they could work around it. And it was like, hey, give Sam off today so that way he can be Mace today, and then tomorrow he can be Nick.
Mace, why do you have a patch? Oh shit, wrong movie. Hold on.
Take that off real quick.
Okay, all right, last one. There's gonna be an Avatar re-release. Will it take over Endgame as the #1 movie of all time?
If they re-release it, will.
You think so? You really think so?
If they re-release it right before this is coming, before the new Avatar film comes out, yeah, it will. Because people are gonna re-see it. Because nobody can remembers Avatar.
It's Blue Pocahontas.
It's Blue Pocahontas.
Okay, I don't think it will, and if it does, it'll barely beat it, but it might get its crown back.
It might.
I hope not.
I think it will.
I hope not.
Look, how many more streams did Coming to America get that when Coming to Zamunda came out?
That's true. The freaking DVD sales, Blu-ray sales, and all that stuff has gone up.
It's gonna take it back because all they gotta do is just time it like a couple of months before Avatar comes out and watch everybody go rewatch it because they don't remember it. And they're gonna dig out their 3D glasses and they're like,
then Marvel's gonna re-release Endgame. And
all the theaters that took all their 3D out, it's gonna somehow try to put it back in for that 2 weeks that they put it back out. It's gonna win it back, and then Marvel's gonna be like, well, we're gonna re-release Endgame again.
All right. That was pretty freaking...
Endgame, something like that.
Forget it, dude. Again. Forget it. All right. Take us home. Get us out of here.
All right. So that was Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is becoming a real good segment for me. I kind of like it because I get to not talk too much about things that I barely know any information about to begin with. So if you guys have any questions about Rapid Fire, if you guys have any other topics that we didn't talk about because we go through so fast, make sure you put them in the comments below. We'll definitely have that chat with you in the comments. If this is the first time you've been on the channel and you haven't already subscribed, so make sure you do so now, as well as click the notification button. So that way you're aware of all the other things that we do on the channel.
For Aspen and Art, where the hell they're at, and I don't know what Carla's doing.
Something.
I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
That was the goods.
Real quick, if you're still here, because we do these end of the video little blooper things. If you're still here, look down. There's a link here for Patreon. If you guys like the show, please give us money. Give us money. We'll take a penny. We'll take a nickel. We'll take a dime. We'll take $1. We have some stuff on there that we're giving away on Patreon if you do contribute, because trust me, we need help. We need help. We want to buy new equipment, and we need an editor. Somebody who doesn't have to stay up in the middle of the night, or they'll have to stay up in the middle, but I won't have to do it. So please, down patreon.com/thegoods. It's in the link. Please do it. We appreciate it.